What's going on YouTube? It's White Monkey here, and I have a little bit of a different video today rather than just regular duels on Master Duel. Today I'm going to be going over my personal deck list because I've been seeing a lot of my comments asking for a deck list, and honestly, I haven't uploaded one since about March, so it's really about that time to get another one out. But just to go over the basic cards that you should have in every deck, like obviously your Ash Blossom, your Maxi, your Harpies Feather Duster, your Raigekis. Now that it's at 2, you definitely should be running 2. You're Called by the Graves to counter like whatever you need for situations like your Ash Blossom, your Maxi, and all that. But as far as everything else, I run 2 Harpy Ladies simply for the fact because I run an unexpected die. If I don't have anything else in my hand, I can at least get a Harpy on the field, and at least having one Harpy on the field is going to be good for you if you pull it into a Harpy's Feather Storm, because that way you can just activate it from your hand, and that's always a good thing. You literally shut down your entire opponent's monster cards for the entire turn. So unless they have like a way to get around, you know, if they have a way to special summon without activating monster's effect, then they're pretty much screwed for that entire turn. They're just gonna have to go next. I do run one Harpy Lady 1. That's literally just for the attack boost that it gives, the 300 attack boost that it gives. Sometimes I can help you out in a pinch if you need it. It's a preference. You can run 3 normal Harpy Ladies. You can run 1. You can run all 3 Harpy Ladies 1 if you want. It's really on how you feel. But that's, like I said, that's really up to you. So, you know, get out there and duel, and if you feel like you can run 3, then run 3. Next I run 1 Barrier Statue of the Stormwind. That's pretty obvious. That way, you know, your opponent can't special summon anything but wind monsters, so that practically locks them out of special summoning unless they deal with this card, which a lot of the times they can't. Sometimes they will. It kind of depends on who you're going against. Like with the way duels are going nowadays, a lot of times they're gonna have to skip their entire main phase 1, go straight into battle just to deal with this card, and then go into their main phase 2. So you kind of save yourself 1 turn if you have this out on the field, and you know maybe you can draw into something good on that next turn. Obviously you should be running triple tactics talent for your Maxi, your Ash Blossoms whenever they activate that, or literally anything your opponent activates on that turn. You know, it depends on your situation. You can draw 2 cards, take control of a monster, or send something back from their hand. It just depends on the situation. You choose what's best for you. A lot of the times I find myself drawing 2 cards, but, you know, sometimes that take control of one of your opponent's monsters is so clutch. So just use your best judgment in those situations. I run 2 Harpy Channelers. You can get away with 3 and maybe take out like an unexpected die or something if you want to run 3. But honestly, I find it working just fine with just 2. Honestly, with the Harpies, I used to run 1, but 2 is kind of nice. It just gives me like a extra Harpy to have. I mean, the normal effect that you have, the normal summon effect that you have, is pretty nice. But mainly you're using this just to send it to the graveyard so you can get an extra card to your hand at the end of the turn. Personally, I don't see why you wouldn't run 3 Harpy Perfumers, because whenever you summon this card, you know, you're able to grab your Elegant Egotist, a Harpy's Feather Rest, a Harpy's Hunting Ground, or a Alluring Mirror Split. That's always nice. I always think you should personally always have this at 3. Honestly though, you can get away with running any of these at 2 at minimum. So it just depends on how you feel. Always run at least 1 Harpy Oracle. This card is pretty good, literally because you can grab any of your spell cards that list Harpy Lady Sisters in its text back from the graveyard to your hand. So say you play your Harpy Oracle after using like your Elegant Egotist or your Harpy's Feather Rest or a Harpy's Hunting Ground gets destroyed. Literally, you play your Harpy Oracle and grab any of those cards from your graveyard, and it's right back in your hand. So honestly, you probably can run this at 2. Just mess around with the deck until you feel like it's good. I always run at least one Mist Valley Apex Avion, literally because this is just a really good negate. It has good attack, has good defense. Just an overall good card if you want an extra negate outside of your Harpies Featherstorm. And speaking of Harpies Featherstorm, like these are literally always 3. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't run 3, but that's like self-explanatory. I always think you should run at least 3 Hysteric Signs. This is an amazing card. It gets you a Elegant Egotist from your deck or the graveyard. But most of the time, if I already have one in the graveyard, I try to pull it from the deck just to mill the deck out a little bit more, just in case if you don't have that one card that you need. But that's just me. You guys can pull it from the graveyard if you want. It just depends on how you feel. But like, that's pretty much it for that. And then I personally run the Flanax Pike, literally because this card it's so good. Like this shit is amazing. You get 900 attack for each card in either graveyard that has the same name as the card that you equip it to, which makes perfect sense because all your cards, literally all your Harpy ladies, are going to be like called Harpy lady, whether they're in the graveyard or in the field, because that's their effect. So literally, you get all these piled up in your graveyard, and hell, honestly, you can but you can like literally play like a basic Harpy. Like you can play any of these, and if you have like all these other ones in your graveyard, literally just slap this Flanax Pike on it, and your attack power is just gonna boost. A lot of times it gets you like the quickest and cleanest OTK that you've ever seen, like that you've ever done. That's pretty much it for the main deck. Or actually, I didn't really talk about Alluring Mirror Split. I really only run one of these because a lot of times I don't find it that useful. Like personally, I don't find it that useful. But it's always nice to have because you can literally just throw it down whenever. And if you have like any of your Harpies in the graveyard, if it gets destroyed by an opponent's effect, or you can pop it with your own Harpies hunting ground, you can literally grab any of your Harpies from the graveyard and put it back on the field. So that's always nice. But that's pretty much it for the main deck. As far as the extra deck goes, I run 2 Cyber Slash. It's once again, it just depends on how you feel with the deck. Like if you feel a need to run 2 or 3, that's fine. I don't feel any need to run more than 2, because like I said, you kind of have your options to get this card back through Alluring Mirror Split, or you could run a hysteric party if you like, which that's also a pretty good card to run, a good trap card to run. So literally all you're doing is, by having this on the field, you can literally discard one of your cards, and then you can summon literally all your Harpies from your graveyard. I used to run this card a lot because it was a quick, easy way to flood my field back up with Harpies. But as of late, it's kind of not been useful. It just depends. Like honestly, I change my deck around like every other day. So like one day it could be in the deck, the next day it couldn't. It just depends on how my duels are going on that specific day. But back to the extra deck, I run one number 91 Thunderspark Dragon. This card is really good if you kind of don't have any other ways to get rid of your opponent's cards, your opponent's monsters. Literally just blow up the entire field, depending on how many Xyz materials you have. That's a good card to have. You can make a case to run 2 Lightning Chidoris, just for how good this card is as well. So with this card, you can literally just bounce cards back to the deck. So if your opponent's playing like trap heavy decks, this would be a good card to use. Or if you don't have any other options to get rid of an opponent's monster, you can literally just play this and then send it back to the extra deck or wherever that it needs to go. And honestly, that's pretty much the same thing with your Cyber Slash Harpy Lady, which is kind of like one of your go-to like extra deck cards, literally because you can just bounce monsters back to the deck or to the hand, like on either player's turn. So like your goal should be trying to have at least one copy of Cyber Slash Harpy Lady on the field, just so you can interrupt and disrupt your opponent's play. Like this card is so amazing and like so annoying, like for your opponent. It's just it's ridiculous. It's a really good card. I only run one Harpies pet Phantasmal Dragon. Not gonna hold you. This card is kind of useless. It has its uses in certain situations, like say your opponent has a blue eyes a blue eyes Chaos Max Dragon on the field. You can literally attack over it with this card. But sometimes the materials that you gotta use, all three materials that you gotta use for this, isn't worth it. But you know, if you have that certain situation where they're at least pretty low on life points, and you kind of don't have anything to beat over your opponent's cards, but if you have the materials to use to get this card out and attack over other cards, that would be a good situation to use this. It comes in handies in those situations, but most of the time you're really not going to be using it. Next we have Tornado Dragon. This is I'm kind of lumping this card with Harpies Phantasmal Dragon, but it's at least better in the fact that you have a little bit more leeway with your attack points. And then you can also pop one spell or trap card on the field with this, and it's a quick effect, so you can do it on either player's turn. So that's always good. But I mean, most of the time you really won't see me using this unless it's like a real desperate situation, like if somehow I just can't get a Harpies Hunting Ground like on the field or whatnot. That's when I'll try to turn to this card, just so I can at least get at least at minimum one spell or trap card off the field. If you're running anything with Xyz monsters, there's no reason why you shouldn't be running Zeus. Like this card is unbelievably amazing. I honestly cannot say that word. It's like 1 in the morning, so please cut me some slack if this is like all unorganized or whatnot. But definitely be running Zeus. Like this card is pretty good, but I don't find too much use for it. Mainly because a lot of your duels are just going to be short and quick, painless. Mainly because you're going to possibly have Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds on the field, and they can't special summon. Or you're going to end up activating a Harpies Featherstorm, which is going to lock them out of their monster effects for the entire turn, and they just end up quitting. But Zeus definitely has its uses, literally because you can get rid of every single card on the field but it. So sometimes it is worth going into your Tornado Dragon to pop a card, and then like at least try to battle an Xyz monster and go into Zeus. Because literally if you have an Xyz monster that battle that turn, after that you can just go into Zeus and then literally just get rid of every single card on the field. So that's always nice. Not gonna hold you. Harpy Conductor is kind of here just to be here, even though she does have her uses at times. Because sometimes you could just be like stuck in a situation where you would rather not play your Cyber Slash Harpy Lady and have it like sitting in the graveyard to get rid of. So sometimes you can literally just go into Harpy Conductor with whatever two of your materials are. And if you have oops, that was not supposed to happen. But if you have a Hysteric Sign on the field, you can literally, like, if this card can avoid getting destroyed by destroying any of your back row cards, and if you have Hysteric Sign already down that you did not activate that turn, you can literally pop Hysteric Sign, and then at the end of the turn, you can get any 3 cards that you want. So normally when you're activating Hysteric Sign from the graveyard, I always personally go for at least one Harpies Featherstorm, depending on if they have back row or not. I go for a Feathered Duster as well. And it depends on what my hand is, but the last card either needs to be a Harpy Channeler, or a Harpy Perfumer. If you really don't have anything to worry about, I would say always go Harpy's Featherstorm, Harpy Channeler, and then Harpy Harpist. That way, when you summon your Channeler, you activate his effect to throw Harpist into the graveyard, and then you just bring out a Perfumer to grab whatever spell card that you want for that turn. Back to the extra deck, I run 2 Tri-Brigade, Farragut Blossom. This is just a good extender for your other boss monster, which is Samorg. So, pretty much, you kind of want to go into this card if you're able to at least have... If you're able to get the 2 materials on the field for this card, you want to summon this, and then if you have, like, you know, any of your level 4 Harpies in your hand, just go ahead and special summon that with this effect. And then when this goes to the graveyard, you're allowed to draw 1 card, even though you do have to send one of those cards back to the hand. And if you only have that 1 card that you drew, that has to go back to the deck. So definitely, when you use this card, try to at least have 2 or 3 cards in your hand when it's activated. So if you end up drawing a good card, you can keep that card and just get rid of something else that's not that, you know, valuable at the time. Honestly, Decode Talker is only here for access code talker, for when you have those very specific moments when you know, you need to destroy a good chunk of monsters on the field. Like, sure, you can just go into Zeus or whatnot, but sometimes it's just so much easier to link up to Decode Talker and then into access code talker. That way, you know, you'll have a pretty high beat stick monster on the field, and then you could probably, you know, pop a decent amount of cards. So, I mean, like I said, there's another use for Harpy Conductor. You can go to Harpy Conductor and then go into Decode Talker and then go into Access Code Talker. And then, you know, you banish your Decode Talker to get your 5.3k damage, your 5.3 attack points, and then, you know, make it do what it do. But for the last card in the extra deck, we have some Morg, and this card honestly is just fucking amazing. Long story short, what this does at the end of each player's turn, you're allowed to summon 1 winged beast monster from your deck. So you can already see how, like, that can give you, like, not priority, but advantages. So, like, you know, you summon some Morg at the end of the turn, you could bring out various Statue of the Storm ones on your first turn, and guess what? They're locked out of a special summoning unless they get rid of various Statue of the Storm ones. And the other thing that makes a Morg so good, that if it has any winged beast monster linked to it, like co-linked to it or whatnot, that Samorg and whatever winged beast that there is that it points to cannot be targeted. So, like, that already gets rid of so many things. Like, gets rid of so many problem cards. So your 2 big monsters should be Samorg and Cyber / Harpy Lady. And then pretty much you just go from there and just wail on everybody. But honestly, I know this was a little bit long video. Not even a little bit long video. Like, this video is damn near 20 minutes long. So I know this is probably going to be like a slog to get through or whatnot. But if you're still here, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you, you know, listening to this mess of a video. This is my first time doing anything like that. So if you have any suggestions on how I should, you know, better these videos to make them shorter or anything like that, please leave it in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.